Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here in June. A very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. And welcome to the Sunday's edition of the dceu Daily. Yes, we're going back to the dceu Daily, and F it. We'll talk about whatever we want. Other DC content, but dceu Daily has a better ring to it, doesn't it? Don't you just love it when a dceu hater comes out and they get bitch slapped by one of the creatives? And this time it's from the wonderful, marvellous David Ayer. I want to hug him. I want to kiss him. I want to high-five him because these haters have had it coming for so long. Let me read you what kicked off yesterday on Twitter. Yeah, if you're not on Twitter, you're not going to know what's going on. But of course that's okay because you have me. Let's check this out. So, this is David Ehrlich, a verified lead, the head critic of IndieWire. And this is what he had to say in response to James Gunn announcing his cast of the Suicide Squad. Now, above a gif of Memento, Guy Pearce writing on one of the Polaroids, right? This is what he had to say. That feeling when a movie studio makes a splashy, exciting announcement about a sequel to some dumb piece of shit that literally every sane person on earth hated with a passion when it came out like 10 minutes ago. Really? Really? Look, you can decide whether I'm sane or insane. So every sane person, does that mean the same shills, yeah? Who have been shilling over 20 MCU generic dull movies, including you, David, and you have the cheek to call the first Suicide Squad a load of shit. Really? Really? It was a load of shit? Really? This film came after Batman v Superman, right? A lot of people called this film a mess, but that world is a mess. A world without Superman, without the safety net of Superman, would be a mess. And I got that. And that's what I loved about it. And it was a great continuation of the DCEU. But this is where he gets bitch slapped by David Ayer. This is brilliant. So this is what happens, right? This is what David Ayer has to say. David, that's really mean-spirited. I understand the nature of your job and the necessity to grab eyes, but a lot of people dedicated their blood, sweat and tears and came together to make the original. It's incredibly painful to have 2 years of my love attacked in such a way. So then David Ehrlich, or how you say his name, comes back with his little shill apology. So this is what he says. Now, this is absolute bullshit, but he has to say something because David Ayer's pulled his pants down by his ankles. I was trying to express frustration with the endless franchise hype parade that continues unabated regardless of previous results, or whatever they are, often at the expense of focusing on films that need the attention. Apologise if it came off as a more personal attack. A more personal attack? You called his movie shit! Of course it's a bloody personal attack. Oh my God. So here's David Ayer's response. Thank you for this. The film industry is exactly that. An industry keeps growing and moving forward. Yet I know James Gunn will make something amazing. My frustration comes from being hammered for something that was not my original vision. So let's go back. That's brilliant. That's massive. David Ayer, the director of Suicide Squad, literally said the theatrical cut of Suicide Squad is not his vision. Now, the extended cut is more of his vision, but still not his vision. We know that. We want the Ayer cut as well as the Snyder cut. We know that. But I want to go back to what this David Ehrlich character, really, he's a troll, right? I was trying to express frustration with the endless franchise hype parade that continues unabated regardless of previous results. Basically, right, this guy is an MCU shill, he hates the DCEU, and he got bitch slapped. But let's repeat what David Ayer said at the end there. My frustration comes from being hammered for something that was not my original vision. So, the first point is that we've had another yet another hater. So why did this hater, this lead critic of IndieWire, come out? Because he's frustrated. He's worried. He's seen the hype over Joker. He hates it. He hates that Walter Hamada is turning around the DC world of movies. And when he looks at his shills, and he sees the MCU, right, and it's doing like Thor, Love and Thunder, he's concerned. He's concerned that we're growing and they're shrinking. Now, I'm going to do another video later talking about the possible return of Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, and the laughable rumour that Denzel Washington's going to play Professor X, because that ain't going to happen, because Harry Styles doesn't even want to work for the MCU. But anyway, right, let's forget about all that for now. Let's talk about David Ayer, because what he said was telling. We know, the fans know that we have Man of Steel and we have Batman v Superman. They couldn't mess with Man of Steel because literally Christopher Nolan's saying, look, my name is on that freaking script. You're not messing with this man's vision. You will not pass. So we know that. So Batman v Superman came. Obviously, there was a lot of pressure with that film because of the divisive nature of Man of Steel. And Warner Brothers started interfering. Kevin Sugihara started interfering. And basically, the theatrical version was not Zack Snyder's vision. We know that. It was a little bit of his vision, but it wasn't the full vision. Because the film had such negative reviews, and although it broke many records in its opening, there were problems. There were problems, so they decided to do the extended cut. While it just came out the cinema, they brought in the extended cut in theatres for like a day or two. Then they released it on digital platforms and home video, DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, yada, yada, yada. And exactly the same thing happened with Suicide Squad, of course, very quickly, because it was blatantly obvious that they'd interfered. So they interfered with Batman v Superman and they interfered with Suicide Squad. But why? It was reaction. It was reactive. It was the poisonous bile from people like David Elrich, or however you pronounce his damn name, that created this situation that scared Warner Brothers so much. They were doing something they'd never done before, interfering with a director's vision. They did it with Zack, and they did it with Suicide Squad. So both those films got an extended cut. And I love the extended cut of BVS, and I absolutely adore the extended cut of Suicide Squad, because basically you get more Joker and you get more Harley, which is awesome. So this is what happened. So now David is basically saying, look, I don't mind being hammered for something I've made, but I didn't make this movie. This is not my movie, you know, so don't hammer me. And the worst thing is, this critic from IndieWire, now, I don't know about you, but I don't really read IndieWire. Does anyone? But anyway, the point is, this guy knows the facts. And, you know, to say that, oh, I just commented on frustration of hype over, a previous film of certain results, whatever that is, that was a lie. You come out and said the man's film is shit, right? Now, whether that's his vision or not, David Ayer shot those scenes. You know, differently to Zack's Justice League, Zack didn't shoot a lot of Justice League, but David shot that film. Now, I think the problem was within the editing, he had to cut a lot out. Now, if you remember rightly, Jared Leto came out spewing about the final cut, the theatrical cut of Suicide Squad. Now, everyone saw this as a personal attack on David Ayer, but it wasn't. It was in defence of David Ayer. If you remember rightly, Jared Leto was coming out during the push for this movie. I love this group of actors. What we're doing is so magnificent. I feel we're doing something special. People like Jared Leto don't come out after movies and say that unless it's true. They were all a family. If you remember the Lord of the Rings cast talking so, vehemently, beautifully about Peter Jackson, it was the same with David Ayer. And Kevin Sugihara cut that movie to pieces. It was reactive from what was going on back then, because the DCEU didn't have a producer running it. They had David Koyer. They had Zack Snyder, who was kind of ruling the roost over the kind of arc they were doing for the DCEU, but they didn't have a fade. because Zack Snyder isn't Kevin Feige. He isn't a producer. He isn't creating schedules. He's creating a story to run through all of the films. And this is the difference now. We've got Walter Hamada. We've got producers. We've got people who can set up stories, set up schedules, and create a franchise. They're the difference. And originally, as much as I love Zack, bless him, he didn't have the tools to be a producer as well as a storyteller. And I think this is what went wrong. So what happened was there was no one there strong enough to say, you know what? Carry on, Zack. What you're doing is amazing. Maybe we would like to make more money, and maybe we would like less of a toxic reaction. But you know what? We're going to carry on and we're going to see this through. They weren't strong enough. They wanted the money. They wanted the MCU success straight away. So they were cutting people's movies down. And, we had it with BVS. We had it with Suicide Squad. And then what happened with Justice League was always going to happen because it was there. It was there. The evidence was there. Kevin Sugihara wasn't strong enough to do this. And you can see already Walter Hamada it's so funny, all the criticism of MOS and BVS being too dark. Suicide Squad being a mess and too dark. Guess what they've done? Walter Hamada has said this, said, fuck this shit. Yes, I'll make light movies. I've just given you Shazam. You've had Shazam now. You've been tickled under your chin. Now you're getting Joker movie. This is dark. This is brutal. And this is violent. And if you don't like it, you don't have to watch it. Because guess what? We're going to make just under $1 billion out of this movie. We've already won the Venice Film Festival. We may win TIFF, but we may not because the critics are too woke. Who cares? We've already won the Venice Film Festival. Our movie's going to be nominated for multiple Oscars. Our actor and director are probably going to win those Oscars. We're going back to being dark. But we'll give you light movies once a year. We'll give you Wonder Woman. So next year we got Wonder Woman, but then again, we got an R-rated movie. The following year we got the Batman. Could that be R-rated? Who knows? This is really, really, really exciting. So basically, it was just great for me to bring this video for you today to talk about something that is very important. David Ayer admitting that film wasn't his ultimate vision. I like David Ayer. David Ayer's a gentleman. Even how he bitch slaps that critic is amazing. He does it with manners. He's a really nice guy. This guy's a great director. So people are saying, oh no, what are Warner Brothers going to do with him speaking out? Nothing. I don't even think he works with Warner Brothers anymore. But he's a great director. And you've got to think about this. Now, you think about Man of Steel. Zack Snyder didn't write and direct Man of Steel. Zack Snyder didn't write and direct BVS. But David Ayer wrote and directed Suicide Squad. So someone, maybe Zack, I assume it was Zack, or someone said, David, you are brilliant. We want you to write and direct and craft the Suicide Squad universe. Now, I don't know what you will think about Suicide Squad, but he created it. It was brilliant. Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. It's amazing. She is Harley Quinn. She is brilliant. Will Smith is an excellent Deadshot. The chemistry between him and Margot Robbie is beautiful. Jared Leto is a really different type of gangster, type of Joker. He isn't the Joker we're used to, but that's fine. Everyone's going, but Heath Ledger's so much better. I don't like you, Jared Leto. Well, I love Jared Leto. Jared Leto is one of the great actors, and to hear people saying, I don't like his Joker because he's very like Jared Leto. Well, you can't do that with Joaquin Phoenix anyway. But the point is, he's less crazy. He's more thoughtful. He's more intelligent. And he's kind of, with the people he kind of whacks, he's a gangster. So he whacks people who might disrespect him or get in his way. Because David's film was cut, we didn't see that. But credit to David. A year ago, he admitted it. I should have made the Joker the villain. I was wrong. I was wrong with what I did. The Joker should have been the villain of this film, and he's right. But people make mistakes. But even without that, even without his film not being his final vision, I kind of like the theatrical cut. And his extended cut is pretty cool too. So this is why it brings me to my next point. Ann Sarnoff, who's pretty much been appointed by J.J. Abrams and his wife, who are pretty much now running Warner Brothers, which I think is amazing. And anyone who doesn't rate J.J. Abrams, see where he's taken Bad Robot from a nothing company producing little TV to Star Trek and Star Wars. So please don't tell me about J.J. Abrams, the man who created Alias, the man who co-created Lost. Please don't come at me. The man's a genius. Anyway, so J.J. Abrams, his good wife and Ann Sarnoff have to look at this situation. Now, they have nothing to do with this situation. This is not their fault. The current leadership, bar one, had nothing to do with this. And that person, whose name I keep on forgetting, I think he's going nowhere. He's going nowhere, and you're all going to have to accept that. But he's not running anything anymore. Maybe he will go, and maybe I think that'll be a celebratory day for us dceu fans. But wow, we are under new leadership, and Ann Sarnoff has to look at this, has to look at what happened on Twitter yesterday. People sending her Snyder dollars all over the world. That's still continuing. You need to go onto Twitter, look for RT Snyder Cut, and they will tell you when to send those Snyder dollars, right, to Ann Sarnoff. It's a great idea, right? And, you know, the Release the Snyder Cut movement gains momentum every day. It's brilliant. But I want, and this is what I'm going to be doing, Release the Snyder Cut to be about not just Zack, because David Ayer deserves better. I want to see David Ayer's cut of that movie, because what Warner Brothers were doing, what they did to Zack Snyder and David Ayer, if you don't know Warner Brothers, was very untypical of the company, because they were under so much trouble, pressure. Because having a DC franchise should mean lots of money, lots of praise, if you do it a certain way. But what they're doing now is very smart. Now, we don't know what the plan is now JJ's coming. Does he take a more leadership role over the DCEU, the DC world of movies? Is he going to be more of the kind of Kevin Feige storyteller running an arc while, you know, Walter Hamada does the thinking from behind the scenes? It's going to be very interesting. Do New Line Cinema continue to be in charge of DC films? I think so, because JJ's remit now, with this $250 million deal that Bad Robot have made, right, he can get involved with everything. So I think he will. I think he will. And we've got this covered, had a little rumour of JJ writing and directing a Justice League movie. Unfortunately, we've got this covered, hasn't got a really good record, and I've nicknamed it, We Got This Uncovered. So what do you think about everything that exploded yesterday? Is David Ayer as much of a hero to you as he is to me now? Well, he always has been. He's a great director. He really, really is. And even though the Suicide Squad theatrical cut isn't exactly his vision, it's still a good movie for me. Extended cut is cool. And I just feel that Ann Sarnoff, who's watching this, has to act. She has to release the Snyder Cut, and she has to release the Ayer Cut. Then we can all move on and look forward to the future. And I think it's a bright one.